Well then, since you did click on this video, despite me asking you not to, you must be a rebel. Just like the guys in the movie. I too am a rebel. Howdy do, fellow rebel. And sometimes, as a rebel, you have to break the grain, or however the saying goes, and speak your mind, regardless of the blowback, so here we go. I think Paul Thomas Anderson is one of the best directors of all time. Yeah, nobody's brave enough to say it, but I said it. Okay, I'm well aware glazing PTA is far from the most original thing a film nerd has done on the internet, and I worry I'm reminding you right now of the worst first date you've ever had, but I think a lot of casual audiences still don't recognize Paul Thomas Anderson as a household name like they do Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg, or Christopher Nolan, but One Battle After Another just feels like one of those momentous films that can change that, and I really want that to happen. So, you have two choices ahead of you. You can either sit through another video of some dude on the internet praising the There Will Be Blood Boogie Nights guy, or you can see One Battle After Another for yourself in a theater. What are you going to do? Tough decisions.
Rise and shine.
Hi. What's up? What's up, homie?
One Battle After Another, loosely based on the novel Vineland, follows Leonardo DiCaprio as Bob Ferguson, a former member of a far-left revolutionary group called the French 75. He has long since become a paranoid weed junkie living in hiding with his teenage daughter, Willa Ferguson, played by Chase Infinity. When an old enemy reemerges and his daughter is put on the line, Leonardo DiCaprio's character has to put his middle-aged dad self back in the line of danger in order to save whatever family he has left. I'm still undecided over whether One Battle After Another is the best movie of 2025 so far, although it very well could be, but I think this is, without a doubt, the movie of 2025. One Battle After Another is a political movie. Unless you've heard about the movie Drew Fortnite instead, that seems to be the most of the buzz around the film, and it is true. Political is, of course, a neutral adjective. When that is all the movie is, that is bad in my opinion, but when the movie has its own story to tell that is largely built off of, or speaks a lot about political issues and questions with an interesting thesis statement, then politics can elevate the movie. One Battle After Another is undoubtedly an example of the latter. Never before have I ever seen such a big example of a movie coming out at the right time. To say Paul Thomas Anderson and One Battle After Another are commenting directly on current matters would be misrepresentative. It takes much longer than that to make a good movie, and truly, I think this is more of a sign that our times have become more absurd and volatile, rather than this movie being outright provocative. However, I want to avoid defanging or disarming this movie in what I believe would be a misguided attempt to make it seem more accessible or neutral than it is or is trying to be. While I think anyone can enjoy the pure filmmaking skill and entertainment value One Battle After Another provides and should see it, it is a stellar movie first and foremost. This is not a movie for everyone, nor is it trying to be. One Battle After Another depicts highly pressing themes like protest, resistance, fascism, and political violence in bold and uncompromising strokes, and it is speaking a lot on what it feels like to be in the United States in the year 2025, even if I doubt they could have predicted what 2025 would end up becoming.
Some East Bay ground squirrels have given up on eating seeds and plants and now are choosing to hunt other rodents.
Team Squirrel, as they're called, witnessed 74 times when squirrels and voles interacted, and more than 40% of the time, squirrels were actively hunting and eating the vole.
The squirrels will chase after a vole. They target one animal and they go after it. They grab it by the neck. They have big incisors and these teeth are very sharp.
This is a movie disinterested in dotting all its I's and crossing all its T's, and engaging on a movie's wavelength is to deal with a bull in a china shop. I would argue that is almost a kind of perverse delight behind the movie. It speaks to a lot of people's rage, and rage is, by its nature, not particularly careful. The movie starts off immaculately and grabs you from minute one as you follow a group of far-left rebels announce their presence to the world. They are the heroes of the movie, fighting against an actively villainized system where undocumented immigrants are being detained in deplorable conditions, white supremacists hold on to a lot of power behind the scenes, and political activists are being hunted down and silenced. However, the French 75 are not sanitized. They are depicted warts and all as ugly, destructive, and not even necessarily helpful. They are not Robin Hood. Far from flattering, saintly, and safe, these are nonetheless the heroes in the movie. The heroes in this world that so happens to greatly resemble our own. What does that say about our world, or what does that say about the movie? I don't know. I've only seen this movie yesterday, but I can say that sort of tension of character and virtue, while it might draw off a lot of people, was immediately riveting to me. It is obviously difficult, impossible, I would even say, to divorce this movie from the politics, which is why I have dedicated a lot of time to talking about it. But the reason One Battle After Another works for me as a political movie is that it is so many other things too. It has a story to tell, first and foremost, about a fraught father and daughter relationship, as well as a man with his own sins and dashed ambitions having to take up the mantle again long after he had given up after the Cause Rebellion finally caught up with him. I find these themes super fascinating. One Battle After Another is kind of a comedic action thriller with car chases and gunfights, which feels like a massive departure from Paul Thomas Anderson's usual style, especially if you're still expecting something like There Will Be Blood or Phantom Thread.
Was it hard playing Obama? I'll be honest, yeah, it was.
With that said, this is still without a doubt a Paul Thomas Anderson film, and you feel his fingerprints all throughout. It turns out he can make these movies super well. You're not going to get a John Wick style action movie. It feels almost more like a Coen Brothers thriller, so to speak, but it is entirely its own thing first and foremost. Sinners earlier had a scene that absolutely defined it. That one-take scene where Sammy performs a song. You know what I'm talking about if you've seen that movie. To me, One Battle After Another has something like that too. A 15-minute sequence around the middle of the film following a protest that grows violent at Bacton Cross. It is suspenseful, heartbreaking, again considering the times, and a lot of plot lines are ebbing back and forth, yet it is miraculously not without its comedy or PTA's signature chaotic quirk. Leonardo DiCaprio basically spends half of it on customer support, and it is spectacular. Consider especially how Johnny Greenwood's score continues to maintain the tension all throughout that scene, and dude, Johnny Greenwood's score in general in this movie is wonderful. It reminds me a lot of Zelda Breath of the Wild, if you know what I mean.
Bat an eyelash.
Good morning.
There are no hands on the clock.
Why?
This was just one of those sequences when I knew One Battle After Another was going to transcend beyond just another movie, or even just another PTA movie. I would not call One Battle After Another PTA's best movie. No, not when There Will Be Blood exists. But to some extent, this movie feels as though it transcends PTA in a way the others haven't. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video and want to give me a smidgen of extra support, please give this video a like and consider subscribing to this channel for more movies and Oscars content. I love you.